Matthew 24 and the book of Revelation, the smoking gun of prophecy. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. Welcome to the program today. That's what we're talking about. And, sometimes things are funny. We have a big dog named Merlin, and he's black. He's a golden doodle, and he's big. And we have a problem with him lying on the couch at night. We go to bed. He goes and gets up on the couch at night. And we don't like that because he stinks and he's a dog and he's not supposed to be on the couch. So last night I went up to get some water or something and I walked by and I look out on the couch and there he is. There's this big black mass on the couch. So I walk up there and yell, "Get down off the couch. Get down." And all of a sudden, when I say that, this cell phone comes on and Cynthia sits up and she's covered in this black blanket. And she's like, "What did you just say to me?" So I was telling Cynthia to get down off of the couch. I guess she was feeling a little sick or something. So it wasn't Merlin. Merlin got blamed for something he didn't do that time. And Cynthia got blamed for sleeping on the couch. So I told her to get her ass back to bed because I'm in charge around here. You know how it goes. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about Matthew 24 and the book of Revelation. We're both on Odyssey Radio, Mojo 50, and Odyssey One. And we are also, my mom would put dining chairs on the sofa at night so my brother's dog wouldn't get on it. Now that's a good idea. I like that one. That would keep Cynthia off that thing too. And what was I talking about? Oh yeah, we're on Unindoctrinate Radio, and we are on the Christian Whistleblower YouTube channel. Now, sometimes when you're on Unindoctrinate, you get very abrupt ends, and you miss out on some stuff. That's why you have to go to the Christian Whistleblower YouTube channel and make sure you get all of the information. Plus, you get, ladies and gentlemen, the video version too. Now, we've done so much about this subject, and I wish I never had to talk about this subject because it's silly, it's ridiculous, but there's so much bad doctrine and so much fear porn and so many people that are a special kind of special talking about this subject. We have to talk about it to keep you straight on it and to keep you from being indoctrinated into the fear porn that goes along with it. So that's what we're doing. And we're going to keep doing what the Christian Whistleblowers got to do because somebody's got to do it, folks. And I've talked about some of this before with you, but we get so distracted. We start talking about foreskins and breast milk and boobs and things of that nature that sometimes I can't keep track. And it's totally you guys' fault. Totally you guys' fault. And we're going to get into this, and I think I've touched on, I think I remember where I quit talking about it, but we're going to talk about it up through, and we'll maybe a little bit of review. So everyone is an expert in prophecy, but no one is an expert in prophecy. They all think they know, they all think they understand, and they don't. Well, for what it's worth, I spent 20 years as a licensed full-time minister. For what it's worth, I have a Bible college degree. For what it's worth, I've been doing this total, if you include the preaching and the whatever we're doing now, 38 years, ladies and gentlemen, 38 years. I agree with you, Sierra. I like the idea of the no foreskin look. That's just me, but it might have been taken, and seems it probably was, for nefarious reasons, but that's another show, and you can go back and, believe it or not, if you search foreskin on this channel, you'll find those shows. Everyone says they're an expert. Nobody is an expert. The blind lead the blind into a ditch. And interestingly, Matthew 15:14 says that you should disregard teachers that lead you into the ditch and here's the one way. Well, here's one of the ways. This is a very easy way. Ask your prophecy expert who Francisco Rivera is. Unless they've been listening to me, you're going to get a blank stare. If they've been listening to me, they're going to get mad and start telling you don't have any faith and that you just need to trust the word and that you need to put that on the shelf. So that's what you'll get. But Francisco Ribera is the unquestioned father of modern eschatology. He invented all of the doctrines that you know of eschatology. He invented the rapture, the tribulation period, the second temple, third temple, whatever it is, third temple, the second coming of Jesus, the chopping off of heads, the mark of the beast, all of that. He invented all of it. And he is, ladies and gentlemen, a Jesuit. He was a Jesuit. He's been dead a long, long time. So ask your prophecy experts, how come they don't know who Francisco Ribera is? And then you can ask them, why are they teaching Jesuit doctrine? Everything that you know of end time prophecy is Jesuit doctrine. Everybody outside of moi that's teaching you Bible prophecy. Joseph Buck, why do you do that constantly? Why do you do that? Everybody that's teaching you prophecy other than me is teaching you Jesuit doctrine. Oh, we just talked about foreskin, and then I started talking about chopping off of heads. No, I mean the Revelation guillotines chopping off your heads, because like your whole head, not just, anyway. Thanks, Dyer. When your moderators start screwing up your channel, then you know that you really are in trouble. But the eschatologists, the lawyers, the politicians, the theologians, and they complicate things, and they're trying to make you be trapped in their fear and guilt control matrix. I can say I'm just going to turn off the chat because you guys are distracting me. You're very, very funny, and I can't read with those damn things on. And it looks better without this light, but I can't read without that light. So sorry, guys. We'll have to have that light right now. So all of modern eschatology, all of modern prophecy teaching is based on Ribera, a Catholic priest, a Jesuit Catholic priest, who in 1590 invented every one of the doctrines that they teach about. Thank you, Jackie Effins. I appreciate it so much. And the reason that Ribera wrote, Jason Miller, I'd like to see some data on that. I think that's fear porn. I promise you that's fear porn. You can't prove it. You can't prove it. Jason's talking about it. We need to address this. And Jason's a good guy, smart guy. I'm glad he's here. He obviously reads, but he says the UN has guillotines for Americans hidden in FEMA camps. Show me a FEMA camp. Show me a guillotine. I'm telling you, folks, that's fear porn. There are not guillotines. They are not going to be chopping off heads. That is fear porn. Don't let it poison you. Don't let it bother you. And I think that if you go back, Jason, and search your source on that, you'll find out that there's really no documentation about those things. It's just speculation, and it's speculation for fear's sake. Now, I really encourage you to go back and source the information of what you are reading there and what you're seeing there, because I guarantee you it is not true. It's just not true. And the teachings of Ribera came out of the Counter-Reformation. You know what the Protestant Reformation was? And now we get, oh, shut up, Tyler. That's funny. It's out of the Protestant Reformation. And then they started the Counter-Reformation. And that's what started all of eschatology. And now the Protestants teach what the Jesuits taught then. And it's my opinion, and I'm going to go and I'm going to prove it probably next week, that the Reformation was a Jesuit psyop. It was a false flag. The Reformation itself was a Jesuit psyop. Tracy says that the guillotine thing is most likely an end times prophecy source. I'll bet you're right. Keep looking, check your sources. And if I'm wrong, I'll admit it, but I pretty much guarantee you that I'm not. So why don't you ask your prophecy expert who Francisco Ribera is? And if he or she happens to know who Francisco Ribera is, why don't you ask them, why are they teaching Jesuit doctrine? And my question would be, why haven't you asked your prophecy expert this question? Why haven't you asked your prophecy expert these questions? But why would the Catholic Church want to divide itself? Well, we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, Z Golden. But since you're a longtime listener and a smart guy, I'll delve into this with you. Think about it. If you're the Jesuits and you've got control, if you're the Catholic Church, and I got a fly in here, that's weird, and you've got control of all of the means of production of literature, nobody reads but you guys, nobody has Bibles but you guys, and all of a sudden these guys come along and they start printing things and they start teaching things that aren't yours, and all of a sudden literacy is exploding. It's just a matter of time before you have to deal with a rebellion. What better way, in my opinion, and I'll back all this up with fact, to manage the rebellion? Let's look at it from the back forward. Let's reverse engineer it. Here we are today in 2019, Lee. I think Lee is the Golden Report. And if not, my apologies. Here we are in 2019. And all of the Protestants who are supposedly the sons and daughters of the Protestant Reformation are teaching Jesuit doctrine. Back when the Reformation started, they weren't teaching Jesuit doctrine because it didn't exist, because there wasn't any Jesuits. They all believed in the historicist view. They all believed that Revelation, Matthew 24, Daniel was all fulfilled, and they were teaching it. And they were saying that the Roman Catholic Church is the seat of Antichrist, and the Pope was the Antichrist. So the Jesuits have a problem, and they say, look, if we have somebody come out and start teaching against us, how can we manage that? It might get out of hand. But what if we pretend to start a reformation where we preach against ourselves and we can control what is preached against us, and then we'll start this thing called the Reformation, then we'll start a counter-reformation, which is what we really want to be taught. And by teaching, quote unquote, against ourselves a little bit, we can bring on the real truth. And 500 years down the road, everybody will be believing what we want them to believe again. I know it's a little complicated, but when I start showing you the connections of Luther, Calvin, all of the dudes to the Roman Catholic Church, to the what would be the Jesuits, I think it will be compelling. But it was, in my opinion, a brilliant psychological operation, a brilliant false flag. And whether they did or whether they didn't, Z Golden, the fact of the matter is that before the Protestant Reformation, everybody believed that the Roman Catholic Church was the seat of Antichrist and that the Pope was the Antichrist. Matthew 24, Revelation, Daniel was all fulfilled. Here we are, 2019, 500 years after the Reformation and the Counter-Reformation, and the Protestants, the sons and daughters of the Protestant reformers, now preach Jesuit doctrine and fight against people like me that preach what the reformers were preaching. You wouldn't believe it if it weren't so, but it is so, and it is true. So if you're going to have a division, better to manage that division. If you're going to have a rebellion, better to manage that rebellion. And here again, we've got people talking about the guillotines. You got to bring me data. You've got to bring me proof. We have a higher standard on this channel. We can't just say things. We can't just throw things out there. We want objective, empirical, verified data. We're not a bunch of conspiracists here. This is not the conspiratorium. This is not Fear Porn Central. We are not fake news for fake views. We cite and reference the things that we teach. Dyer says everyone loves a straw man. That's the short answer of the long answer that I gave you. And let's see. Oh, wait, never mind, says Z Golden. Okay. Well, it was good. It was good. There's a good source to find more on Francisco Ribera. Where's a good source? Google Francisco Rivera. That's the place that you start. Google Francisco Rivera. That's how I would start. And I just said Google, and my phone is saying, how can I help? According to Wikipedia, Francisco Rivera Jr. And now we're hearing about the boxer, Francisco Rivera. Oh, boy. That's not the Francisco I was talking about. Sorry, my bad. My bad. And now I want to get back to where I'm at with my timer. All right, we're there. That's so hilarious. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's say this. Here we go. Why aren't you asking them who Francisco Rivera is? Why aren't you asking them why they teach Jesuit doctrine? And then here is another conundrum for you. Matthew 24 and the book of Revelation are the sweet spot of New Testament eschatology. They're the sweet start of New Testament eschatology, the sweet spot of New Testament eschatology. Matthew 24, book of Revelation. It's all of the, prophecy, the eschatology in the New Testament, except for maybe a little bit of Jude and some parallel passages in Mark and in Matthew. And John didn't say anything about it, which is kind of interesting. But at any rate, a little bit about it. And he, of course, wrote Revelation. But at any rate, here's Matthew 24. Here's Revelation. They'll teach the hell out of Matthew 24. They'll teach the hell out of Revelation. But they never try to put the two together. Did you ever stop and think about that? If the Matthew 24 and the book of Revelation are the two biggest sections of eschatological thought in the New Testament, why haven't they been merged? Why haven't they attempted to merge them? Why haven't they attempted to harmonize them? Why have they attempted to put them together? Well, there's a reason why they haven't attempted to put them together. It would make too much sense to put it together. They can't afford to put it together because they have looked at it and they are now hiding and fighting the harmonizing and the putting together of the book of Revelation and Matthew 24. I just want you to see I'm reading my own notes. I'm not reading from a book. This is delicate stuff, deep stuff, and very, very intricate stuff. So we need to keep track of it, ladies and gentlemen. The blind follow the blind. And now everybody is in the ditch, folks. All of eschatology is in the ditch. They won't address Rivera. They won't try to harmonize Matthew 24 and the book of Revelation. And they are afraid. They are the fake views media. Because it will unravel history, his story, when you start pulling on the thread of Matthew 24 and Revelation together. And inspired by Dylan last night, I'm going to put together a visual, diagram comparing Matthew 24 and Revelation and showing how they interact together. Tracy says they misuse Old Testament scripture to try to force Jesus into the Hebrew Messiah. Yes, they do. And that is part of what we're talking about. So let's get into this. Let's look at Matthew 24. Let's look at the book of Revelation. And I don't have my chart ready, so we're just going to look at it textually today. And folks, I'm so glad that I'm able to do this. It's so much work. It's so much time. I don't get probably as much sleep as I should. I'm working hard, but that's okay because of the great technology that Halo Marquise has come up with, the Mistech bracelets. You see, I've got 4 on this arm, but this one's really like 16, and I got 4 on this arm. These bracelets keep me at the Earth's natural Schumann resonance, and many of these have specific frequencies that empower, inspire, and help me to be the best that I can be and allow me to operate at a very, very high level. Plus, they look really, really cool. So go to jeffreydaugherty.com Either click on the Mistech link that's up at the upper left, or click on the Mistech logo in my sponsors. See what you like. If you're skeptical, start with the $25 silicon band. You do get a full 20% discount on anything you order, and you put that thing on, you will be a believer. And Halo and I are such believers on these things that all you have to do, if you get the $25 one, course with a 20% discount, it's $20. You love it. You say, man, I wish I'd have got a different one. Go ahead and let us know that you bought the $20 one, and we will credit you that much towards a new bracelet. That's right. That's how good we are, because that's how we charlatans, like postmodern mythology is saying, that's how we work. Honest, fair, and stay tuned, postmodern mythology, because this charlatan is going to show you from the scriptures, postmodern mythology, from the scriptures, from the Greek, the original Greek that you probably don't know. You know more about Kim Kardashian's ass than you know about the Greek New Testament. But stick around, and we're going to show you how charlatans work, because what your church people say is a charlatan is somebody that tells you the truth. So stick around, postmodern mythology, and I hope you have more insightful, helpful, constructive, well thought out comments to add as we go through the Greek New Testament, ladies and gentlemen. So let's do it. Let's look at Matthew 24. And let me just say, first of all, that until the 16th century, everybody knew that Matthew 24 was history. It was only after the writings of the Jesuit Francisco Ribera that anyone started thinking that Matthew 24 was future. If you think Matthew 24 is future, you are preaching Jesuit doctrine. It's not my opinion. It's a fact. That thought did not exist until basically the 17th century, the very, very end of the 16th century, the start of the 17th century, that Matthew 24 was in the future. It's clearly, positively, without a doubt, history. Not only I'm going to show you that it was history, I'm going to show you when it happened, and I'm going to use the New Testament and the New Testament itself to show it to you. Nothing up my sleeve but some Mistech bracelets and a black t-shirt, but that's it. Nothing else up my sleeve. At no time will my fingers leave my hands, and we will be right back on Unindoctrinate, and you're going to start getting the truth about Matthew 24 and the book of Revelation. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. This is Unindoctrinate, and we're also the artist known as the Christian Whistleblower over on YouTube. We'll be right back after this break, ladies and gentlemen. So, of course, there's no break on YouTube, but we're doing two things at once. So guess what? We're going to go right back into the magic of radio right now. You ready? Hold on. Here we go. Back into radio. And we're back on Unindoctrinate. It's the midnight hour. We're reminding you of your personal power and breaking down the lies of the eschatologists. Hello, Cynthia. And she's back, ladies and gentlemen. She's home. So here we go. Was I supposed to be on Project Camelot? Yes and no. Greg, I will be interviewing Carrie on this channel, Carrie Cassidy, one of the great pioneers of what we do. I'm very, very excited to interview Carrie because she's probably forgotten more about how to do what we do than I know. So when I can get around people that are smarter than me, people that are more experienced than me, people that are more talented than me, and I know it's not that hard, I like to get around them and I like to pick their brain. And it's my pleasure to be able to interview Carrie Cassidy of Project Camelot. And I'm really, really looking forward to it. It's going to be a great, great interview. We're going to talk about a lot of different things. I plan to really get into her expertise. And we were supposed to talk yesterday and we had a snafu on planning. I thought she was having some difficulties with the fires and whatnot there in California. We might have had a little misunderstanding about the time, but that's okay. We're going to get her back, and I'm looking forward to talking to one of the great pioneers of the whole YouTube quote unquote truther, even though I hate that word, agenda. So looking forward to talking with Carrie. And unfortunately, we didn't work it out yesterday. So that's what's going on with that. So many haters on Carrie. I've never heard anybody hating on Carrie Cassidy, but like I said, she's forgotten more than just about anybody else knows about this. So I am definitely a supporter of Carrie. She introduced me to Paladin, or Paladin introduced me to her. It was a symbiotic relationship, and still is. One of the great, credible and reliable shows on YouTube. Of course, I don't agree with everything that she says, because I don't even agree with everything I say. So, but we look forward to that interview with Carrie Cassidy of Project Camelot. So Matthew 24 is not future, it's history. Matthew 24 has already happened, ladies and gentlemen. It's already happened. And I know it's hard for you to understand. I know it's hard for you to accept. I know it's hard for you to believe. And there's a couple, maybe you've got some debilitating injuries that makes it hard for you to believe that. Maybe you've got some debilitating sicknesses that makes you want more easier to be indoctrinated and harder to come to truth. Maybe you're just getting tired. Maybe you're sick. Maybe you're old. Well, I've got some help for you right here on Indoctrinate. Plus, you can go, I'm helping you on a spiritual level here. Now, on a physical level, you can go to jeffreydaugherty.com, click on the Stem Light logo. They are our partners for stem cell therapy, 20% off if you mention the word heal. Absolutely miraculous results, so miraculous. We're going to be making a documentary about the people that have been helped, and to get you ready for Stem Light while you save the money up, because it's not cheap, or just to get yourself ready. Even if you have the money, they're going to ask you to do this. Click on the Create Yourself Nutrition logo. That is the stem food that will actually nurture, grow, help your present existing adult stem cells within your body. So the stem food, the Create Yourself Nutrition, works to get you ready until, and even when you do the stem light therapy, it is going to will continue to do that, because it nurtures and it helps and it makes you better, stronger, faster. Literally, it'll help you think, it'll help you understand. And I'm convinced that physical optimization leads inexorably to spiritual optimization, or at least makes it a whole lot easier. Use the code word HEAL on both those sites, Stem Light or Create Yourself Nutrition. And if you're a doctor, then please go to southernstem.com and you can partner with Stem Light. We are the only company, stem cell company, that is affiliated with the National Football League Alumni Association. If you don't get the credibility of that, then you're probably not a doctor. But Southern Stem for doctors, Stem Light, Create Yourself Nutrition for those of you that are not doctors, even though you might play one on YouTube. I'm so glad to see the trolls in the chat room today. Let's don't be so fast to pull them out. I like to see what they say, and many times I like to respond to it, because like postmodern mythology, we're about to show them how a charlatan will actually break down the Bible, actually break down the Greek. And I guarantee you, postmodern has never seen anything like that before. And then we've got some other ones down here that look like they're, last unctives. Again, they've never seen this before. And the reason why I have a little bit of a soft spot for the trolls, these are Christian trolls. And you know how you can tell they're Christian trolls? Because they're mean, they're nasty, they're dirty, they cuss, they're horrible. Non-Christian trolls don't act that way. Isn't it interesting that the Christians who are supposed to be love and all this, they're the nasty ones? That's how you know it's a Christian troll. But let these trolls go, because I used to be a Christian. And if I was if we had the internet back when we're talking the 80s, we didn't have the internet like this, I would have been in the chat room calling names and being stupid and throwing epitaphs like this. But I didn't because I couldn't. So I know that some of them, they're scared, they're worried, they see their foundation crumbling beneath them. They know that they're living a lie. They've seen the fact that there's cracks in the foundation of Roman Protestantism and Roman Catholicism. And they're in here and they're lashing out. And I guarantee you, and I get emails and comments almost every week of, Jeff, I used to hate you. I used to talk bad about you. I used to troll you. And now I finally see from the scripture that you're right. And I apologize to you. They don't need to apologize to me. But that's what happens. So let's let these Christian trolls, these Bible trolls, let's let them, give them a little bit more of a of rope. And we know they're going to be nasty. We know they're going to be mean. We're taking pacifiers away from babies, ladies and gentlemen. We're pulling people off the tit. And it's a hard transition for them. They're going to scream. They're going to cry. They're going to kick their feet. They're going to spit up. They're going to act out. But hopefully some of them are going to come to their senses and they'll come back and they'll apologize. So let's get into Matthew 24. Yeah, it's a weaning process, as Tracy Dyer says. And as Jama says, they are looking for truth, even if they don't know it. And some of them, Jama, they're running from truth because truth has caught them. Truth has caught them. Ooh, he called it a booby, a tit. Well, isn't a booby a tit? Isn't a tit a booby? A booby can be a bird. Why are you attacking Christians? I'm not attacking. Christians are attacking me, Nancy. Are you not paying attention? I'm sitting here minding my business, teaching, and the Christians are attacking me. And Nancy says, why are you attacking Christians? I'm not attacking Christians. I'm attacking eschatology doctrine. If you want to believe the Jesuits, believe the Jesuits. But you have a right to know that what you believe is Jesuits. So Matthew 24, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone is an expert on prophecy, but nobody's an expert on prophecy. Matthew 24 is history. You must become willfully ignorant in order to believe that it's future. Matthew 24 is history. You must be willfully ignorant to convince yourself that it is future. Only the fake views media, those that are doing fake news for fake views, believe it's future. And most of the ones that are teaching it know it's not. And they're deceiving you. Some of them are ignorant. Some of them are a special kind of special. But most of them are agents provocateur. Most of them know exactly what they're doing. Most of them are working for the Jesuit agenda. Most of them are working for the Illuminati agenda. Most of them know exactly who they are. Fake news for fake views. And everyone that talks about this, and postmodern, I am right about this topic, and I'm right about Jesus too. He didn't exist. He's a Roman invention. He's a straw man. He's the dancing bear of Roman religion. Stick around, you'll learn something. So let's talk about Matthew 24. And thank you for acknowledging that I'm right about this topic. That takes a lot. So Matthew 24. And before we go to Matthew 24, we've got to go to 1 Timothy because it's so poignant what 1 Timothy teaches, and it's so exacting what 1 Timothy teaches. And I want to show you this. I'm going to show you this, and I want to show you, since there's Christian people in the hizzow right now, I want to show you how this is done, because your pastors don't show you, your priests don't show you, and your Jesuit controlled, working for them, even if they don't know it, gurus on YouTube don't show you. Let me show you how to use this. This is BibleHub.com. I didn't make it. I don't get paid to use it. In fact, if they knew I was using it, they'd probably shut me down. This website, BibleHub.com, will let you know everything a PhD seminarian knows. And here's how we're going to do it. We're going to look at 1 Timothy chapter 4. So what we're going to do, we're going to go up here where we're on Revelation right now. And we're going to click on this little thing beside here, and we're going to go to 1 Timothy. Okay, 1 Timothy. And then we're going to go to chapter 4 over here. You see 1 Timothy. Now we're going to go to chapter 4 of 1 Timothy. And because most of you are familiar with the King James Version, that's usually where I start. 1 Timothy chapter 4. Now what it has here is it has the biblical scriptures written. I believe the Bible is 99.99% false. And I've been studying it for 100,000 hours. How many you got? I believe it's 99.9% false. So then why do you still use it, Jeff? Because I'm using it to show you, like it's like right here, they tell you what they're going to do to you. The Bible is a blueprint for the deception and destruction of the divinity, sovereignty, and freedom of the human race. And they show you exactly what they're going to do. And let me move my mullahs a little bit so I can see. They tell you exactly what they're going to do. And you can read it right here in English. And then we're going to look at it in the Greek. And you've never seen this before. Never seen this before. Now the Spirit speaks expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. That's what you Christians right now are accusing me of doing. You're saying that I am departing from the faith, when it's really you have departed from the faith. Everyone that calls themselves Christians and talks about carrying their cross and talks about being saved and talks about having the blood of Jesus and talks about asking Jesus and the Father into their heart, you are the ones that have departed from the faith. You say, I'm giving heed to seducing spirits. You are giving heed to seducing spirits, and I'll prove it to you. You say that I'm teaching doctrines of devils. You're teaching doctrines of devils, and I'll prove it to you. Speaking lies and hypocrisy. You accuse me, but it's really you who are guilty. More accurately, your teachers that are guilty, and you're just a special kind of special right now, riding that short bus to church and home. Metaphorically, stay with me. Speaking lies and hypocrisy. Oh, having your conscience seared with a hot iron. That's the problem that most of you right now have. Your conscience is seared with a hot iron. Seared with a hot iron. But that's not what we're here to talk about. Here's what we're here to talk about. And let me show you how you do this. You see the one, it's blue, right? And if you get too close to that arrow, it'll take you back. So that's why I moved it up. You see that one? If I click on that one, I go from the English, I go into, boom, an in-depth study of that word. It switches versions. I don't like that. Now I get the Bible study, Berean Bible study, or the Berean Study Bible. Now the Spirit expressly states that in latter times, some will abandon the faith to follow deceitful spirits and the teachings of demons. You think I'm doing it, but I'm about to show you it's you. Now watch this. See, this is all blue, which means you can click on the word and you'll get the Greek. But let's do it the easy way. See, this is all blue. I can come up here where it says interlinear. And if I click on that, I'm going to get 1 Timothy 4:1, and I'm going to get it interlinear style. Word for word English, word for word Greek. Your mind's being blown, isn't it? This charlatan, this deceiver, this devil is going to go to the New Testament and show you word for word what I'm talking about. You tell me who's right. You tell me who's wrong. You tell me who's a deceiver and who's a charlatan. Now watch this. But the Spirit expressly states that in latter times. Does it really mean in latter times? The Spirit expressly states that, what's this word in? Let's go to 1722 and look at what this word in means. Whoops. See if you hit the wrong thing. So what does this word in mean? It means in, on, at, by, or with. Inside with. See, figuratively, in the realm or the sphere of, in the condition or state of. So it doesn't really mean in the last days at all. It means concerning, in the realm of, in the condition of. Within, it means in the realm of. So what they're really saying is that the Spirit itself expressly states. What does expressly mean? It means in stated terms explicitly. And it does when you read it in the Greek. The Spirit, whatever you think the Spirit is, the wind, the Spirit, the breath, the anointing, I would call it, the anointing clearly states, without any doubt, clearly commands and states that in reference to latter times. Remember what the word means? It doesn't mean that in the last times, because when are the last times? Paul thought he was in the last times 2,000 years ago. But in reference to the last times, in the realm or the sphere of the last times, relating to the last times, relating to the teachings of the last times, relating to the teachings of, what does it mean? Latter. What's latter mean? Remaining to the in reference to the teachings of the latter, in reference to the teaching of the last, in reference to the teaching of the latter and last. What? Times, seasons. Rut-row. It doesn't say that in the last days. It says that in reference to teaching about the last days. Wow. It doesn't say that in the last days people depart. It says that in reference to the teaching about the last days, people will depart. What? In reference to the teaching about the last days. Wow. In reference to the teaching about the last days, what? In reference to the teaching about the last days, in reference to the teaching about the last days, apostatoni. I'll bet you know what that means. In reference to the teaching about the last days, guess what? In reference to the teaching about the last days, there will be some to lead away. There will be some to depart from. There will be some to draw away. That means that we knew you can't be led away from Washington, D.C. if you're not in Washington, D.C. You can't be led away from Poughkeepsie if you're not in Poughkeepsie. You can't be led away from Clearwater if you're not in Clearwater. You can't be led away from your bedroom if you're not in your bedroom. So in regards to the last days, there will be some that are going to lead away. There's some that are going to depart from. Depart from what? The faith. The faith. They're going to depart from the faith, the belief, the trust, the confidence that has been there for 1,500 years. Everybody associated with the scriptures believed one thing. And if they get too irritating, Tracy, go ahead and knock them out. They believed one thing. Matthew 24 was history. But there's going to come some people that in reference to the latter times will begin to depart from that belief, will lead away from that belief. How? Why will they lead away? Because they will turn to, they will attend to they will attend to spirits which are what? Spirits which are deceitful, those that wander, those that lead astray. You can't wander from somewhere you're not. You can't lead astray from somewhere that you aren't at already. We were there, and people came along and led us astray from deceitful what? Deceitful instructions. And the Greek here poetically says that their doctrines of demons, doctrines of evil spirits, heathen deities, fallen angels. Ladies and gentlemen, I am sharing Bible Hub, right? I am sharing Bible Hub. I see it on the screen. The New Testament does not say that in the last days people are going to depart from true Christianity. It says that the Spirit is warning us. What do you mean you don't see it? How can you not see it? It's right here. Stop, share, desktop to share. I'm looking at it. You got to see it. I'm doing it again. And if it doesn't work, you're just going to have to believe me because I'm showing it to you right here on the screen. It doesn't say that in the last days, people are going to depart from Christianity. It says that in reference to the teachings of the end of times, people are going to depart from the faith. They're going to give heed to seducing spirits and teachings of demons. It's weird because I was seeing it the whole time. It temporarily went off. Imagine that. Ladies and gentlemen, we all believed a certain thing about eschatology all the way until the 16th century, until the Jesuits led us away from that belief through deceitful teachings. And could you call the Jesuits teachers of demonic thought? Well, they're about the best candidate that I could think of to be teaching demonic doctrines. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not just me saying that we had a belief about the truth of the text of the scriptures, whether they're true or not. We had a belief about the truth of what they say. And somebody came and took us away from a belief and brought us to a new belief, which is deceitful and which is a doctrine of demons. History shows we used to believe that Matthew 24 was history. We used to believe that the papacy and the Catholic Church represented the Antichrist. We used to believe that Revelation was history. We used to believe that Daniel was history. Now we believe that it's future, and we believe it because the Jesuits have taught us this. And your pastor, your preacher, your priest, your guru, your favorite YouTube channel that's teaching you eschatology, which means the teaching of the end times, is teaching you Jesuit doctrine in perfect fulfillment of the text. That's why the Bible is still valuable. Yes, it's meant to destroy us. Yes, it's meant to take us down, but it shows us what they're going to do to us. It shows us how they're going to take us down. It shows us how they're going to destroy us. By taking us away from what we knew to be true for 1,600 years into a new ground that's not true, being led by a deceptive bunch, and the Jesuits fit the bill 100%. Of course, that Global Witness guy is pushing the Jesus deception because he's a Jesuit bought and paid for agent provocateur. No question about it. And they all are scared to death of me. Won't face me, won't debate me, won't discuss with me. And I'm sorry, but over on Unindoctrinate, we've got to leave you. Now, we're going to continue on over at the Christian Whistleblower YouTube channel. So you can go over there and pick up and hear what you left and what you missed. But we do have to say goodnight to you now on the Unindoctrinate radio show. Thank you so much for being with us. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, also known as a Christian Whistleblower, and we will see you again tomorrow night. All right, so we're done with radio, ladies and gentlemen. So now that we have this framing of understanding, now that we know that we used to know and we've been deceived into believing something else, see, that's the difference. That's what they want to do. When you know, you know. But when they want to get you to believe, they're getting you from knowing into belief. And in the middle of belief, in the middle of every belief is a lie. Look at the word, B-E-L-I-E-F. B-E-L-I-E-V-E. In the middle of belief, in the middle of believe is a lie. When you know, you know. What's in the middle of know? Now, N-O-W. Rock solid, stop, steady. And then you get from knowing into believing. And that's when you get into trouble, cousins. We're 51 minutes in. We've got the table set. We're ready to go into Matthew 24. But I don't think I should really get into it because we're already an hour in. And I don't want to lose you, ladies and gentlemen, because it's been a long, long time. Santino, hit me with your question. Hit me with your question. I do not know what Derek's game plan is. I don't care what Derek's game plan is. He's insignificant, and I don't want to talk about him anymore. And I won't. If you have questions about his game plan, ask him. He's been exposed. He's been shown to be nothing but a Jesuit agent, and I have nothing more to say about him. Ask him. Let's look at one little bit. Let's look at one little bit of Matthew 24, just to wet your whistle. Just to wet your whistle. Here's Matthew 24. And it's interesting that even in the King James, it says temple destruction foretold. We know when the temple was destroyed. It was destroyed in AD 70. So before you even start, you know that Matthew 24, temple destruction happened in AD 70. So how can people like the guy that's been mentioned and all the ones that haven't been mentioned, how can they still teach that Matthew 24 is going to be in the future? Because they're either a special kind of special and they're short bus, fake news for fake views, or they're complicit in the deception. It's one or the other. Ask them. Are you a special kind of special, or are you an agent of the deception? It's a fair question. But Jesus went out, and again, we're contexting. This is a story that they want us to believe. Doesn't matter if it's really true or not. Here's the story, and we're going to talk about the story. Jesus went out, departed from the temple, and his disciples said to him, "Look at this magnificent temple. Isn't it great?" And that's the way religious people are. They love their temples. Look at these red letters. Aren't they pretty? Look at my church. Isn't it great? Look at my channel. I have so many subscribers. Religious people, Christian people are building temples. And then Jesus said, let me tell you something, cousin. Not one stone is going to be left upon another. They'll all be thrown down. All of them will be thrown down. And I'm here to tell you today, ladies and gentlemen, if you are still preaching eschatology, whether you're a special kind of special or you're an agent of deception, you're about to come crashing down. There will not be one stone left upon another. And that's already been proven true because none of you have any stones to engage in an open debate with me. So I don't know where they're going. There won't be any stones left upon another because there's no stones. And you will be thrown down. Your deceit is being exposed. Your deception is being exposed. 500 years of Jesuit deception is long enough. 500 years of Jesuit deception is long enough. And then Jesus talked to the dudes. Again, it's a story. It's a story of how they're going to deceive us. They said to him, when will these things be? What's going to be the sign of your coming and of the end of the world? And Jesus says, take heed that no man deceive you. And I want to show you something that is so powerful that none of you, I've never heard anybody but me say it. And I want to show you this, and we're probably going to end with this. Because here's the problem. The problem with you that get deceived, and this is what they use to deceive you with, and you still can't figure it out. It's because you don't want to give up the pacifier. And I know that I'd have a lot more subscribers if I wasn't so mean to people and if I didn't tell it the way it was. Some of you are babies. You don't want to give up your pacifier. You don't want to be pulled off the titty. You love it. You like sucking it. You like, it makes you feel comfortable. You like to be rocked in the arms. That's why you can't give up. Look what Jesus said to them. Look what they said to him, first of all. Jesus said, they said, oh, look at the temple. It's going to be destroyed, bro. When are these things going to happen? When's the temple going to be destroyed? Keep it in context. There won't be one stone left upon another of the temple. It'll be destroyed. When will it be destroyed? They said. When? When's our world going to end? The temple was their world. And then they also said, what will be the sign of your coming, Jesus? And Jesus probably wanted to shake his head and slap the shit out of him. Because he had just told them already. Over in Luke 17:20 records this, and we're just going to go ahead and go to it right here. We're just going to go ahead and go to it right here and show it to you right here, what he said to them in Luke 17:20. Here they are asking him, Jesus, what are going to be the signs of your coming? What are going to be the signs of your coming? And I can just imagine him hanging his head if he was real. This is a story. I can imagine him wanting to bring a backhand if he was real. This is just a story. And he wanted to say to them, what the hell is wrong with you people? I just finished telling you, and I'm going to show you what he just finished telling them. I just finished telling you people something. And let me check something real quick. My Bible's bigger than your Bible. Let me just check something real quick. 66, Luke 63. Boom. I'm so damn good. Sometimes you're so good you don't know how good you are. But it's good to be good. But 38 years, you ought to be good. Luke was written about 63. Matthew was written about 66. So they're over here in Matthew saying, when? They're over here in Matthew saying, what's going to be the sign of your coming? And he's like, damn it, I told you 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I told you fools. What did he tell them? 3 damn years ago, I told you and you weren't listening to me. 3 damn years ago, I told you this. And you're still asking me stupid questions. I know how Jesus felt sometimes. I really do, even though he wasn't real. Maybe I'm not real. They're asking him in Matthew 24, when will the temple be destroyed? That's cool. When's our world going to end? When's the temple coming down? That's cool. That's a good question. But then they ask him, what's going to be the sign of your coming, Jesus? What's going to be the sign of your coming, Jesus? And he's like, you damn idiots. 3 years ago, I told you. When's it going to come, Jesus? 3 years ago, he told them, it doesn't come with observable signs. 3 years ago, I told you it's not going to come with signs. And now here you are still asking, what are going to be the signs? You damn people, most of you are the same way, and I'm just as pissed as Jesus was. I've been telling you for 3 years. There's not going to be any observable signs of the coming of Jesus, because he's not coming, but that's beside the point. There's not going to be any observable signs. But you want there to be observable signs. And you follow teachers that talk about observable signs. Oh, shit, I'm not showing this. Doggone it. Sorry for the cussing. I know that's going to throw you off, give you an excuse to not believe me, even though the scripture is so plain that the kingdom will not come with observable signs. And yet, 3 years later, they're still asking them, what's going to be the sign of your coming? The kingdom won't come with observable signs. What's the sign of your coming? The kingdom won't come with observable signs. And you're still asking 3 years later, but, what about September 23, Revelation 12? But, what about new moon? But, red moons? But, red letters? But. Why? When we told you, I've been telling you for 3 years, Jesus has been telling them for 3 years, no observable signs. But you still want to know signs. You know why? That's why. Pharisees. You won't stop listening to them, and you won't stop acting like them. And let me show you something else, ladies and gentlemen. Let me show you something else. You won't stop listening to Pharisees, and you won't stop acting like Pharisees. And let me show you something else. And I'm going to end with this. I really am. I'm going to end with this because this proves it so hard. So hard. So hard. Watch this, bitches. Oh, I love messing with you guys. I really do. Bible Hub. There it is again. Matthew 16. Watch this. I just told you who it was that was leading you astray. Pharisees, Jesuits, deceiving spirits, doctrines of devils. And I got to show you again because you're still demanding signs, even though I've been telling you for 3 years, even though Jesus told him for 3 years, no signs. Watch this, ladies and gentlemen. Watch and see who you are, and watch and see who your leaders are, and watch and see what they're making you. Are you ready to see who your leaders are and what they're making you? Because you're still looking for signs. You're still believing Jesuit doctrine. You're still following Pharisees and acting like Pharisees. Here's what your leaders are, and here's what they're making you. Who demands a sign? A wicked and an adulterous generation. Who demands a sign? The wicked demand a sign. Who demands a sign? The adulterous demand a sign. Who teaches to watch for signs of the times, and that signs are coming, and tribulations and raptures and antichrist? Who teaches that? The wicked teach that. Who believes that? Wait, who teaches that? The wicked teach that. Who believes that? Who teaches that? The wicked teach that. Who teaches that? The adulterers teach that. And who believes that? The wicked believe that. Who believes that? The adulterous believe that. So let me ask you. Let's see if some of you are still in the chat room. I shut it down accidentally. Let me ask you. And I'm going to be rather pointed with this asking. Let me ask you, as I'm way over time here. Let me ask you. I hope you all haven't run away, but you might have, because this is tough for you. I know. Let me ask you. Yeah, they're all gone. Imagine that. They've all run away. They all run away. Huh. They used to be here, but now I can't find them anymore. They've all run away. They've all run away. So I can't ask them because they're not here anymore. I was going to ask some of those trolls, are you wicked or are you adulterous? Are you wicked or are you adulterous? Because Jesus, who you say you believe, says that if you are looking for signs, you're wicked or you're adulterous. And Jesus, who you said to believe, says if you're teaching to look for signs, you're wicked or adulterous. I just wonder, which one are you? And how dare you call me wicked? How dare you call me adulterous when I'm the one that's in the book and you're the one that's either wicked or adulterous? You believe your Bible? How you like me now? How you like you now? What you gonna do now that the truth of the gospel, the good news, what you gonna do now that the New Testament, plain and simple, what you gonna do now that the Greek has busted out all over you, brother? What you gonna do, brother, now that the New Testament is busting out all over you? What you gonna do, brother? Little Hulk Hogan. What you gonna do? Ooh, that felt good. That felt good, and I like it. And there's no stones. They don't have any stones to stack because they won't even summon up the stones to debate me. What you gonna do, just Spitfire? Now that the whole truth has broke out all over you, what you gonna do? Hey, Jeff, I gotta go. Yeah, I figured you did. How dare you quote Greta? Oh, God, it's nice to see trolls stumble and stammer and stammer. You know what it reminds me of? And I'm closing with this. A couple days ago, and this has bugged me ever since I got here. Cynthia's got a nice lot here, and she's got this neighbor. Some rich guy used to pushing his way around, and he just parks his boat on her property. Didn't even ask. And that's what you guys remind me of. And then he called the cops on her because her dogs were out of the yard. And the other day, I wasn't here last time he parked the boat, but I'm here this time. He goes to park his boat on her property again. So I went out and I said, do you realize that you're about to park your boat on her property again after you called the cops on her? And you know what he said? And then I said, make sure you park your boat on your property. And he said, yes, sir. That's how you trolls are. All I hear now is, Don't come into my chat room spouting your shit unless you got chapter and verse. Come strong to the mic, have a take, and don't suck. And you can all say, yes, sir. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian whistleblower. That's called some tough love. That's called some straight up truth. What you gonna do now that the Christian whistleblower has broken out all over you, Hulk Hogan style? History is written by the winners. These 40,000 people subscribe to this channel, we're winners. We're going to win today, and we're going to write a better tomorrow. And I don't care what any of your loser Jezzy gurus say to you. Things are not bad. They're not getting worse. Things are good. And they're getting better. And the Christian Whistleblower and the Gospel Truth Army and every one of us are here to make damn sure it does. Lead, follow, or get the hell out of the way, because here we come, and we're bringing gospel, which means good news, with us. We're in the gospel business, cousins, and like it or not, we're in the gospel business, and that business is a booming. Like, share, subscribe, or don't. We'll be here no matter what. And you can thank me later. You can apologize later. Because I'm like the Fram oil filter, man. If you're too young to understand what that means, you can pay me now or you can pay me later. But you're going to pay me. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. We're the last generation of real humans. Let's get busy.